Hello, my name is Trey Cutler. In this short how-to video, I will demonstrate how to utilize Intel AMT Location Factor for Intel Authenticate. The video will also show how to enable and configure Intel Active Management Technology, or Intel AMT, via host-based configuration. First, Intel AMT, or Active Management Technology, is a core feature of all Intel vPro platforms with a proven multi-year track record. For a quick and simple setup of Intel AMT, download the Intel AMT configurator, the Intel ACU. You want to go ahead and extract that. You're going to start by right-clicking on the ACU wizard that stands for the AMT configuration utility. Once you start that, you're getting run as an administrator. You want to select the option to configure and unconfigure Windows, and then configure the option. You want password. It has to be a strong password, 8 alphanumeric characters with a special character at the end or within it. In this example, I'm going to use the password p@ssw0rd. So again, 8 characters, alphanumeric, at least one special character. You go ahead and, on the next page, add in a description. This is purely optional. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and enable AMT location. The next piece is to click on the optional settings and the home domain. In here, you're going to define the connection-specific DNS suffix. Now, this suffix is what you receive from your DHCP option 15 least response. If that doesn't make sense, let's take a different approach. Open up the command prompt, type ipconfig/all, and in here you want to look for the media that's connected. In this case, I'm connected via wired, and my connection-specific DNS suffix will be shown here in just a moment. It's right there. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. It's vprodemo.com. So that's the example for me. You'll want to find that example for your own environment. There needs to be a value there. If there's not, talk and see what's going on with your DHCP lease settings. So I'm going to take this value, vprodemo.com. In large enterprises, there may be other values. You cannot use a wildcard, so it can't be start.vprodemo.com. It needs to have a defined value. I'm going to go ahead and finish the profile, and you need to give a password for the profile. Here in a moment. Again, this part is to secure the profile. The previous part is to the configuration of Intel AMT. So here, when you give a profile password, again, for the purpose of the demonstration, it's p@ssw0rd for this example. So once Intel AMT is configured, there's a final check. Again, this is Intel AMT configuration via host-based configuration. It's one of a handful of ways to do it. It's perhaps the most simple within the Windows environment. So one thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to open up a browser, and again, this is just to confirm the configuration has completed. And so when I open that browser, I'm going to go to the URL http://localhost:16992. Again, that's for the local host of the system. Log in as admin with the password that I defined earlier, p@ssw0rd. If you want to go one step further with Intel AMT, you can connect via the network to the interface. You can power cycle a system. That's, again, the feature of the active management technology. Now, what I want to do is I want to transition over and talk about how to create the authenticate policy. I've actually already created one. There's another video that explains the whole authenticate profile definition process, but I've already created one. I'm going to show that here on this particular system. So I'm going to go ahead, navigate, open up the profile that I've already defined. And again, you might notice here the extracted files come from the briefcase, again, for Intel internal folks. And within the policies, I have 3 policies. The one, the LOC, has location. So I'll show here what I've done for the Intel Authenticate policy. I have Intel AMT Location. I've also defined 2 other factors, Bluetooth proximity and protected PIN. For the purpose of the OS login, I've made the AMT Location a required factor. The Bluetooth and PIN are optional. One or the other has to occur. One other setting, I'm going to go ahead and remove this check mark here that requires an encrypted drive. Okay, so that is the profile. The next step, again, I'm going to go and show how to apply, well, basically I have a script that applies it. Again, for those inside of Intel that use what I've created is called the briefcase. I've already created a script. This is actually a slightly modified version of the script that lets you choose among options. So go ahead and run the apply policy. You get 3 options here. These are different configuration profiles. I'm going to select the third one, which adds in the AMT location. So go ahead and enroll the factors. I'm going to enroll AMT Location and also enroll the protected pin. As I mentioned, there's another video where I go into more detail about the whole enrollment process and what's happening here. In this example, I actually am showing you the protected pin via the display. But again, that's a randomized pin that's coming straight in from the hardware to the screen. Okay, so with those two factors, I have sufficient number of factors to do an operating system login. So the purpose of the demo, I'm actually going to go ahead and log out. So again, this is a part of the authentication or the enrollment process, is you need to log out, log in one more time. So either log out or lock the screen. And when you log back in, what's happening is the Intel Authenticate client captures the user credentials and then protects those or encrypts those. So go ahead and log in here. And right there, that's where it has grabbed those, and then the credential provider is going to change the interface. So now I'm on the network. I'm on the vprodemo.com network, and I'm going to go ahead and log out one more time, or lock the screen. And when I go to log in, the AMT location occurs, and again, you don't really see that happen, but then I get the PIN. Go ahead and enter in the PIN value, and enter in the correct PIN value, 4321 in this example, and I'll go ahead and be able to log in via Authenticate. Now so there we go. So now I've logged in. Again, just to show that that I didn't really cheat here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in this example, I've changed my network configuration. So my DNS suffix, my connection-specific DNS suffix, is no longer vprodemo.com. So now, if I were to lock the screen or log out, when I attempt to log in, it's going to fail because the AMT location value doesn't match up. So a key example here is if the system were to be moved outside of an environment, it no longer has that factor, then it'll fail, as shown here. Now I could get around this with other options, but for now this is the end of the demonstration.